I need to take the time to talk about COVID and moving forward. This is something that's been on my mind for a long time. And I have to be transparent with that. It's honestly been a really, really tough decision mulling over in my mind, more because I am more uncertain about people's perceptions and feelings about COVID and the surrounding policies and procedures that exist in New Jersey. I'm more nervous about the uncertainty of knowing what other people feel and what their perspective is, especially how it relates to us. You're clearly on either the extreme or most probably are in the middle, where in general you are hating wearing masks when you go out. In general, you really want to wear a mask when you go out, and the most of us are compliant because we have to be compliant and we can't get into a store without it. All right, well, how does that bring us back to Isabella Fitness? And I want to be clear: is the goal is to make everyone comfortable, to make people know that I care about their best interests and I care about the athlete's best interest, considering how fitness is done and how fitness is different than just going into a normal store. There are obviously other things that I have to consider as well. With that being said, I think there's a bunch of bullets on the checklist that if we follow and we do to a T, then we can be at least as comfortable as possible given the situation, especially now that November, December, January, February, March, these are traditionally high volume flu months. People get sick. And right now, I think it's been a little nonchalant around the gym because we're not seeing COVID exist as much. We are outside. And if we do venture inside, it's far and few in between. And you're not surrounded by people as you will be when we get into the thick of things in the winter. And in general, it becomes a time where you're going to see people who get the flu. You're going to see people who get COVID because it's just the natural cyclical period of getting sick. And in times past, people have had the flu, have not come to the gym, and they come to the gym and they get better and no one bats an eye and it's fine. Even some people, I'm sure, come to the gym and they do feel a little under the weather and the flu isn't spreading. It's not like there's an epidemic of the flu happening in the gym. So am I optimistic that things are going to be fine? Yes, because I know that in past seasons here, I've seen people get the flu, but it's not like it's a big thing, right? With that being said, some down the line, more than one people are going to get sick from their normal life, and they're going to be a member here. So how do I bridge the gap between making people feel comfortable and then also being so worried about other people around them getting sick? It's just the nature of the season. With that being said, let me just talk about the things that I think that if we implement properly, we'll all be safe and sound. And what I need you to also know is, since day one, this has always been a moving target. What I say today may not be black and white and what I believe tomorrow. Everything is fluid. My decisions have been fluid, and I think it needs to continue to be that way. With that being said, is that if you feel that you are on one of the extremes, I would love for you to have a conversation with me and let me know what your feelings are. I'm assuming 90% are going to be in the middle and will do whatever I ask of them because they're just going to do that. Whether they have feelings of that COVID is the worst thing in the world, or whether they think COVID is something that's make-believe, although they know it's real, but they don't think it's as crazy as society has made it seem, or how much fear-mongering mainstream society has made it out to be. Where I was going with that is, if you're on one of the extremes, you need to talk to me. And one of the things that I'm doing is to help those people who are on the extremes, which are like, hey, I'm not ready to go into normal society yet. And the other people are like, why are we still doing this? Those are the extremes. I think most of us are in the middle. A couple things is, when it comes to masks, I know no one wants to wear a mask working out. I mean, when you go to LA Fitness or you go to Retro Fitness or you go to other gyms that I've talked to, They're wearing masks, and it's something that they do and something that they get used to. Is it ideal? No. Is it something that they want to do? No. I believe that we could find a happy balance. With that being said, I think it's reasonable and I think it's fair to make everyone feel safe. Although whether we believe that masks work or not, it's the perception that if I have this makes me not safe. This makes me safe. That's the perception. So with going with that is that if you are going from when we go inside, this is basically starting November 1st, when ideally it's probably going to be best to move inside because the weather is going to be too cold and really not ideal for outside. Let's be clear. If you want to still use outside throughout the whole entire winter, sure, you can use outside. That might be manageable for people in the afternoon where it's typically nicer than obviously in the morning or in the evening. But with that, without going too deep into that, if you want to use outside, you can use outside indefinitely, whatever. When we go back inside, when we go to that transition of inside, November 1st is when my target is, all right, this is what we have to start. That's why I want to give you weeks notice to get prepared and ask questions. And if you have any issues, let me know. When we are in the gym, a couple of things that we're going to help keep people safe is our workouts is going to be we're going to try as best as possible to keep our workouts where there's minimal movement between areas. So once you're in your box, once you're in your spot, you're pretty much going to stay in your spot. Obviously, when you get equipment, we will be matriculating around the gym to get equipment. When that happens, when you enter into the gym, mask on. When you get your equipment, mask on. When you're in your spot, warming up, mask on. Now, I know that there are people who can't breathe with a mask on or have underlying health conditions that aren't suitable with a mask on. Once you're in your spot, I can't tell you, no, you can't have your mask on or off. I mean, I understand there's policies that you are allowed to, if you have a health condition, to not wear a mask. And I also understand if you feel strongly about wearing a mask, you wear a mask. Once you're at your spot, I can't tell you one thing or the other. But what I am going to say is, if you are comfortable wearing the mask, awesome. You wear it, and that's fine. Once you're at when we're moving around spots, we have to be considerate of now we're going to someone else's area. Once you go into someone else's area, even if it's just a quick run to the bathroom or a quick whatever, obviously put your mask on. Clearly, I know when you're working out, the mask will eventually drift down. I mean, I'd have to be stupid to believe that it's going to always remain here. When I'm just walking, it gets lower and lower. When I'm talking, it gets lower and lower. When you're at your spot, what you do in that spot is what you do in that spot. When you're matriculating around, you have to make sure that you have your mask on at all times. Another thing that I want to encourage people to do is set up a cohort. What that means is we can really cohort by a couple different ways. One is try your best to remain at a certain class time. And with that being said, surround yourself with people that you are commonly going to surround yourself with. Try to pick a spot. Now, I understand that if someone who usually goes to 5 comes to 6, and there's 2 people who have the same spot, we have to make do. But for the most part, you pretty much know what time you're coming to class. There are some people who fall outside of that, who come to class at different times throughout the day, which I understand. But a large majority of us are at the same class consistently. Cohort yourself around the same amount of people where you know that if I'm next to Steve, I'm always going to be next to Steve, and let's kind of work this space out. Be more cognizant of where your space ideally would be, and none of it is yours. I can't claim a spot for you, but what I can do is suggest that you are surrounded by similar people. If you don't care about COVID and you're not worried, and you're not going to be worried, and you're not going to care if someone gets it, then I guess it doesn't matter so much. But if you know that you want to be a little bit more careful, then plan to be around the people that you normally are around. And if someone has an idea about how maybe this could actually work in practice, I'm up to hearing that. In general, it would be more like, I pretty much know where people stand when they come to class anyway. I mean, they pretty much develop their own spot without even calling their own spot. And the only time they get bumped out is when someone from a different class, who's usually not in their class, comes and gets there before they do, and they have their spot. So I know we get territorial about our space in there anyway, so I get it. class times consistently would be awesome, and it's not mandatory. And also being around similar people would be great as well. What I want to also do is, I hate to not have people changing their sneakers, and it's killing me. However, I still want to be able to use all entrances to come in and out of the gym. So therefore, if you have a bag, then you know you're always going to enter into the room that has the cubbies. If you don't have a bag, if you don't have anything to store, if you only have a key and a cell phone or just your keys, you come in the other doors. You don't need to go into the main entrance if you don't have anything that you need to store in there. I think that's going to help as well. Really, you're probably only going to be interacting with someone or a couple people. The couple people in your spot are really going to be the people that you're going to have to be the most comfortable with. Other than that, everyone's masked up when they're going from spot to spot when they're getting their equipment, which I think is also going to help you not being around people, more people than you need to be. And I think that could be done smart as well. You can always let people go get the equipment in different sections. You know, one section of the gym goes, and I would like to set up the gym in a way where you're not all congregating to one spot, except for maybe like the kettlebells or dumbbells. But I would like to set up the barbells where it can easily be differentiated between, all right, we all don't need to go to the same barbell spot. Using that space is really, really important. Another thing that I wanna also talk about is the fan is always going to be on, circulating in the opposite direction. It's not going to be coming down on us, which will make people cold. It's going to be going in reverse. So it's going to pull air up and then circulate around. Circulation is one of the big things that is out there about helping with COVID, and that's why being indoors is one of the issues, is circulation. And then once we get hot and once the workout gets underway, you know, the doors can get opened up, or we can do something to also now get some more airflow in the gym. And I also have an exhaust fan that's in the gym that I could turn on that will bring the air in and then go right outside. And then what I want to do for the extremist, and this is where it's going to be important for you to tell me I'm extreme one way or I'm extreme the other way, where I 100% never want to wear a mask, or I 100% don't want to be around anyone who doesn't think this is the most serious thing ever. I need to know some extremes, and I'm hoping most of you will just fall in the middle and do me a solid, because this is not my decision. If it was up to me, I don't want to get my opinions into it. However, I'm doing this because it needs to be said, and I don't want people to think that it is something that is not on my mind. I'm very concerned. I'm very nervous. Very, very, very nervous about how people are going to take it. I am not nervous about anything else other than how people are going to take it and how comfortable people are going to be. And what I want to do is I want to use the main unit to house the people who are pretty much just nonchalant about it. And by nonchalant, I mean they care, but they're not an extreme. What I want to do is during the classes, I want to have the main unit be an area that suits the majority of that class time. And what that means is if there's 5 people in a class that are absolute, like, I am scared to death, I want those people to be in the smaller unit. I want the smaller unit to be an area where it's like your place for comfort 1,000%. Now, everyone can't tell me that, because then everyone goes in the small unit. That doesn't make sense, right? There needs to be this bell curve where I know there's a low amount of extremes and then most of us are in the middle, which I've been reiterating. However, I want to use both units to make everyone comfortable. The big unit, like I said, can be the place where most people are going to be, and then I want to use the last unit for a cohort of people that are going to traditionally be in there 99% of the time. And each class, if you think about it, if there was a class of 20, hypothetically speaking, and there were 5 people who knew that, like, hey, I only want to be around these 5 people because these are the people I feel comfortable with, and our group is kind of going to stay in the small unit together. Each class can kind of do something similar. It doesn't have to be a strategy that you develop. We just understand that if you reach out to me and I know that there's 20 people who are anti or pro mask or whatever it is that are extreme, then I know that, all right, let's break it up this way. And we're going to use all the rooms anyway to spread things out. But I think it's important to have that last unit serve a specific purpose, where it's not just randomly people going in there. The people that are in there, I think, should be the people who are traditionally always going to be in there because they want to feel comfortable. And that's going to either make or break their decision as to what they want to do moving forward. I'm scared and I'm nervous about how people are going to take it, and clearly I want people to be a part of the gym. Zoom is great in a shutdown situation. Borrowing equipment is great in a shutdown situation, not in a situation where there's 90% in the gym and 10% out of the gym. It doesn't work ideally that way. It's not a great format. However, everything is a moving target. And this is what I'm saying today, and it could change before November 1st, and it could change December 1st, and you guys can hate my guts, and it might change tomorrow. Again, and it might change in different directions. Not to say that I don't have my foot down in some regard. However, I understand that this is going to be... This is a 15-minute, 16, 20-minute video because I don't feel like I could just jam these strategies and protocols down your throat. I think it's important to have dialogue. However, 200 people dialoguing also doesn't make sense. With that being said, if you are on one side strongly opinionated, let me know. If you are hopefully going to support the decisions that we put forth and come and show up and battle this winter out with me, great. I need more communication. I need you to let me know what your feelings are. However, in general, I would like us to consider, where am I going to enter the gym every day? Where am I going to start to set up myself every day? Am I going to be able to have a cohort of people that I can typically stay around? Am I going to be one of those people who want to use a smaller unit to be around like-minded individuals like myself? And also having prepared to wear a mask, getting your equipment moving around the gym, similar to when you go out to a restaurant. When you're at your spot, you're socially distanced from other people. When you leave and get up and go to the bathroom, you put your mask on. I will also have disposable masks that I will have at the gym if you forget one. If you don't have a mask that you're comfortable with, I actually have this mask, which is actually pretty comfortable, to be honest. And I think it would be really easy to work out in this, to be truthfully honest. It's not one of those N95 ones that are, this I would not want to work out in. I can sell you this for $2. I could buy it, you get $2, you can have it, and I'm sure you could easily wash this. I mean, I digress, but like, this is what the government says is going to keep me safe. However, if you need one, that is an awesome option. I'll give it to you if you really want me to give it to you. I don't really care. I just want people to be comfortable and come to the gym. And we are working hard to do the right thing for the coaches, for the athletes, for everyone. And we're in a good spot, and I'm very happy with how we are now compared to where we were in June and May, which was a couple rough months. This was a really, really long video, and I'm sure you probably didn't even listen to it, and you probably just asked your friend, tell me the summary. I'm going to stop now. Hit me up if you have any questions or concerns.